Hey, so it's been way too long since I did one of these. I was meaning to keep up kind of like every week or every 2 weeks. A lot of things have gotten in the way, which I will talk about in this vlog. But straight out of the gates, the most important thing is that I have the absolute pleasure, absolute privilege of revealing a Riftbound Vendetta card. That'll be happening here on my YouTube channel and also on my Twitter or X account on July 15th. So make sure you're subscribed, follow me on X or Twitter, follow me here, whatever version you want to get that on. I will be revealing a card for Vendetta, and I cannot wait to show you a little bit more about the set. I'll go through my thoughts on that set as well by the time we're there on July 15th. So what has been going on with me and also like UK Riftbound, like that kind of thing. I've been talking to people about running an event. It's trickier than you might imagine to run an event. So hopefully I'll be able to give you some updates on that as well on the 15th of July too, but we got some cool stuff coming up. Predominantly for those in the southeast of England. Sorry for those of you that are elsewhere. I would love to do more up in the north, but you know, UK trains and travel distance is a pain in the butt. So when I can get a little bit further north in the country, I will, but for now, I'm gonna be sticking around the London and my hometown of Brighton as it is at the moment. So talking about London, I went and did an event with Spellbound Games. First time I've ever been to Spellbound, and they are such a lovely group of people, lovely space they have, not too far from Elephant and Castle Station in London. They invited me to come and do commentary for their winner case event that happened a week before Utrecht, I think it was. Blevins came down, and then I did some casting with Kane and Frankie, who are regulars in the London area that play, you know, in the competitive scene too. So really fun, great. Had some interesting decks. We had like a Jax that went undefeated in Swiss, and then I think there was like a Kha'Zix that did super well as well. I think Kha'Zix might have won it actually, if I remember rightly. My brain is like struggling to hold on to what games I cast in what place at what time, just to put that out there. Because I went into June being like, cool, I'm not casting. I talked quite openly about the fact that I wasn't supposed to cast anymore for Riftbound for the summer at least, where we were having different people on broadcast, that type of thing. I knew I wasn't going to be doing Utrecht, so it was all fine. I was like, hey, I'll just take a little bit of my foot off the gas for just a moment on the casting side of things. But luckily, Spellbound came in. They were like, hey, you want to do some stuff? I was like, yes, I do. So got up to speed with that. Really cool place. Hung and the team over at Spellbound, as I said, very lovely, very ambitious and wanting to push forward with doing UK stuff. So fingers crossed we can get some fun stuff put together with Spellbound over time. Yeah, watch this space, because I cannot say enough good things about them. And then that takes me to the surprise I had a couple days before Utrecht, where as I said, wasn't supposed to be doing Utrecht, ended up casting at Utrecht, which I am very thankful to be able to do that and be in a position where I was going to be at the event anyway. I had planned to be there. I had planned to go play for a metal card. I think I talked a little bit about it on some of the last vlogs that I did. Basically the Wednesday before Utrecht, I got a message saying Medic wasn't feeling very well. Unfortunately, wasn't able to travel to the event, and would I step in at the last minute? And I said, of course, absolutely. Like, those of you that know me, I love the game. I love playing Riftbound. I love being involved with the community. But my absolute favorite thing to do in any game, and especially Riftbound, is to commentate. I love being in the broadcast seat. It's my favorite seat in the house, so absolutely I was gonna do it, gonna be there. And it was fun. I got to jump in last minute with a crew of mostly new faces that I hadn't worked with before, of Bandit and Shy Burton and Leo, of course. Leonard and I did Bologna, so that was great. It was lovely to kind of be on the same team with Leo as well. I am very much looking forward to commentating with Leo again. I think it's very clear that from where we were in Bologna, of like the first time we're doing Riftbound to now my third event, Leo's second, and he's done plenty in between. Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for us to work together as well. I worked with Bandit, it was lovely. for multiple reasons. But first of all, it's rare for me to get to cast with somebody else who is from the LGBT community. I love being able to kind of build community ties there, have a different flavor to the broadcast, because a lot of the times, and this isn't meant to be said in any negative way, but a lot of the times when we're in what is potentially referred to as a heteronormative environment, for those of you that don't care about LGBT stuff, that just basically means like day-to-day walking around, like it's very not present that people like from diverse backgrounds or and not in any negative sense, just it's a way of just saying, hey, day-to-day life. That's generally a lot of what events are, is that environment where you can be yourself, but you know, whether it's the sense of humor, the way that you're tailoring things for broadcast, I don't necessarily feel in those situations like I can lean into some of my parts of my personality, because I know that if I make a reference that's something that's particularly gay, it's just not going to pick up. Like my co-commentators can be like, cool, don't know what the hell you're talking about. Whereas at least with Bandit, I was like, I can toe the line a little bit closer to like my off-camera personality, which I try and blend a little bit better. So that was nice. That was lovely. And Bandit, you know, we had each other's back throughout a lot of the games. There were some, like the first couple that they gave me, again, going in on no preparation at all to this event, where unlike Bologna and Lille, I was like cramming prep for like a month. I knew I was going to be on the broadcast. I had notes. I had folders of notes. Going into Utrecht, I was like, it's Wednesday and I fly Thursday. So basically, I'm doing this event purely on like my intuition and my read on the game, which is not the easiest thing to do, because one thing is like seeing the game, and the other is telling the story of the game as you go without like things to fall back on. And when I say things to fall back on, what I mean is if you're preparing for like the number of decks that Riftbound has, it's relatively difficult to have an all-encompassing level of knowledge to know the ins and outs of specific cards, like whether it's a 3 of, a 2 of, a 1 of a sideboard card, for every single deck, knowing every single matchup. So to do it on intuition means you really have to like be able to process that information as you're speaking and as you're seeing it, and not sound like a complete idiot. Which hopefully I did. People seem to like it. Some people were like, hey, I think they were some of your best casts. And I was like, great, perfect. So the ones that I wasn't ready for. Which maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I should feel good that people like felt good that I put out some decent work without as much prep as I would like to. However, that doesn't mean I'm not going to prep. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be ready for other events. That's the trap that people fall into, is you think you can do it without preparing, whereas actually being on cast is like 90% preparation, 10% being in the moment. So yeah, most of the prep you do for an event you end up not using. So hopefully it wasn't too bad from my side. People seem to like it, so I hope it was good. Utrecht in general was such a fun event. I will throw some B-roll up here of some really cool stuff. Like one of the vendors had some PSA graded like the signature cards, that type of thing. I think it was like a Lee Sin and an Ari that were just ridiculous. Like their vendor station was just the most insane cards you've ever seen in your life next to each other, like all in a row. So that was really cool. I ran into Spoozy, who I used to know by a slightly different name, and I guess he used to know me by a very different name. And we literally just, he was by a vendor, and I was like, hey, how's it going? And we caught up and shot a little bit of content for his vlog. I don't know whether I'll have the full content for this one, but I did take just a little video with somebody who came up and asked us for a photo, which was weird. I was like, do you want me to take a photo of both of the two of you? And the person was like, no, I want both of you. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I'm so used to being the one that's taking the photo of other people. That has happened my entire career. So it's nice to have that turn around for once. And I got to have the Rift Labs guys on stream. We had Jibs on stream playing Jin in the perfect alignment of being 4-0 on Jin, playing the kind of 16 energy big combo Jin where you get like 2 massive turns with Time Warp. So that was a lot of fun. And then I requested to have the Lux loop deck on Sunday morning because I was like, we decided we're not going to show on Saturday because the worst thing you could possibly have on stream is a slow and dirtily deck that takes a million game actions to do almost nothing with a player that is not competent in the way of presenting it to their opponent very quickly. And that's not to say that all of the players of the RQ aren't competent players, but my point is you're rolling the dice if you do it game 1 of the day, and it's a player that has just gone, oh, I can play this, and hasn't practiced it. So at least if you've made day 2, then we know you've won at least 6 games. So you know how to win with the deck, you know how to complete the loop, you know how to be able to close out the game. But the surprise was the fact that when we went into game, it was Pentastag that was there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, another UK player. Pentastag actually ended up being top 16. I can't remember their exact placement, but great showing for the UK. There were some other UK players that did really well, and I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned you. We need to make connections, and I need to get to know you in person, and then I can tell your stories as well, because I'd love to tell all the UK players' stories. So that was really fun. Loved Utrecht, got back to work, and then I've just been kind of working on some stuff in the background on the event like I was talking about. But I did get to go up to Mythic Goblin, which I had heard about also around Elephant and Castle, because when I was at Spellbound, everyone was talking about, hey, there's this Nexus night that like gets between 60 and 80 people like every single week. So I went and I was like, I'm gonna go and check this out. Jibs was there, Dunk was there, for those of you that know Dunk from esports and Dunk's background, or whether you know Dunk from Riftbound and his Riftbound content. It was lovely to just hang out, get to jam some games. There was 60 people at a Nexus night, which is pretty cool. And everyone's like, oh, this is one of the quieter ones, because as I said, they've been up to 80. So very, very cool over at Mythic Goblin. Again, another great game store. Big fan of what they're doing with the level of support that they show. Price support was good as well for the Nexus Nights. I went 2-1, managed to take down a Volibear and a Pike player before being bested by Fiora. And I have to have a mini rant about myself because I'm not playing enough of the game at the moment. I need to keep playing in between events and things, because every time I cast Charm, every single time I have cast Charm in the last 2 weeks, I have like immediately lost the game that I was in. This time it happened with like, I was playing Vex, where you have like Evelyns and you bring people in, and the Evelyns were fine. The Evelyns were doing okay. I killed a Fiora, like by Evelyn charming Fiora in, and I was like, fine, we're good, everything's fine, the board state was good. There was one set on the board with a buff, and I wasn't thinking what I was playing against, and I was like, Charm, set to this battlefield. And lo and behold, my opponent, I think they don't have any answers. They start reaching for that buff token on it, and I was like, Call to Glory is a card that exists, isn't it? And yeah, Call to Glory wins the game on the spot. Vex can't turn that back around when Set has been able to, on my turn, conquer a battlefield, win a combat, get a point, get the buff back for conquering. So anyway, I'm just bad at using Charm. I'm probably not going to play green in Vendetta. Not for me. I'm going to go different directions. I played a little bit of LeBlanc at Nexus Nights this past weekend. My brain broke doing it, trying to sequence everything, but I did quite enjoy it. And I've made Diana as well. I've just been needing to try and branch out from decks. I think I played Aurora too much at the beginning of Unleashed, and my Aurora brain has forgotten how to actually determine. Like, I have to care what is in my opponent's hand, which is easy to do when you're in the caster desk and you can see everything, or you're playing Aurora and you don't care what your opponent has, and you're like, well, everything that I'm doing is the same on rails. So I need to jam a few more games, get there, understand a little bit more. But all of that through the lens of, we're going into preview season very shortly for Vendetta. What a fun preview season it is looking like it's going to be. I cannot wait to share my preview with you on July 15th. A couple of the little secret bits in the lead up to it as well, just from what I've been sent from my card to make it all make sense within context. But I'm going to end this vlog here. I hope you've enjoyed it. Poro has been noodling around off camera with me throughout the entire thing, so hopefully she didn't cause too much mischief. July 15th, I'll see you here on the channel on my Twitter account for a little skit and a discussion about some of the preview videos. Thank you very much for watching.